This is what the ISO standard is all about, creating a thing called a management system. What the ISO standard doesn't tell you is it gives you a definition of a management system. So the asset management system, well, we've already spoken about stakeholders. The leadership style of the organisation is often reflective of the stakeholders. The organisation has organisation objectives or strategic plans. They're approved by the stakeholders, right? So these three things always happen at the same level. The ISO standard then says, well, we need these things called asset management objectives, and that's just the technical term that the ISO standard uses for what I just said right at the beginning of today. It needs to understand what assets it wants and needs, what do they each have to do, and how do they all work together to deliver what the business wants. There has to be some science and maths and processes behind how you do this. Yeah, for a lot of things and small businesses, it's kind of straightforward-ish. But once you get into a bit more complex world, you need some tools and maths and data to enable you to do this. And there's some tools to enable you to do this. A couple of the ones I showed you at the beginning of the day, remember the 3 slides, technical, financial and otherwise? Technical, financial can deal with this as well. Some of those standards of how to do this. But you do need a process for how this works because it needs to be repeatable. So these three green boxes, that's why they're coloured variants of green, always come together. In any management system, anywhere, you have processes that gives you the repeatability. People are authorised to make a decision, because you have process to make decisions. They're authorised to make that decision, and the basis upon which they're authorised, they are competent and they're engaged. They want to be there. They want to make that decision. Yeah. Around those 3 green boxes, you've got decision making. What types of decisions are being made? Well, that's often reflected in these asset management objectives. Not often, it is reflective of those asset management objectives. The basis upon which you're going to make a decision is risk. You've got processes to support the types of decisions that are being made. The types of decisions that are being made are reflective of the asset management objectives. The asset management objectives themselves reflect the organisational objectives. So you can see there's a very top-down process here. Organisational objectives are translated into asset management objectives because this is the physical asset side of that. And around the outside, you've got performance monitoring improvement. That's where all the data is. And you use data and performance indicators to enable you to identify improvement. So this red line is meant to represent the link between stakeholders. Stakeholders have certain desires and wishes, return on investment criteria, for example. The organisational objectives would reflect that. Also reflect the business that this organisation is in. Yeah. The asset management objectives would reflect the organisational objectives. The types of decisions required in terms of decision making are reflected in the asset management objectives, and the processes you're going to use to do all that are reflective of the decision making. So there's very much a top-down view of how this stuff fits together. Yeah. So within your management system, you should be able to see all that.